Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yo, today B starts a new season, man. We gonna jump into season 3, man.
Hey man, season three, we just hope it's trended in the right direction. Season three is gonna be a big one. And we're starting off with some pretty heavy firepower tonight.
That's right. That's right. Welcome, welcome, welcome to High School Basketball Weekly. This is our new season, season 3. I'm your host, Glenn Pooh Harding, with my co-host.
Brian Reichert.
You know how we do, baby. We are locked in. Season 3. Let's go. Do I have my music? Do I have my music on? Do I have that on? That will be nice, right? If I have my music on. But anyway, before we bring in our intro, let's just talk about the people that we have on today, and then we'll get into that, B.
Yeah. The intro?
Today, yeah. We have let's just say this, right? Let's get into this. Tonight we start off season 3 with 2 coaches that won the prestigious summer tournament, New York versus New York. Our first guest is the founder of Ballin' Out Loud and the city championship coach from South Shore High School, Coach Kim Denton, the head coach of the West 4th Girls Squad, who defeated Dykeman 58-54. And then our next guest is the New York City legendary head coach of the now closed Lawrence Woodmere Academy.
Official.
Before that, he had an extremely great career, which we're going to get into. But he was the head coach at Tri-State, and he is Dwayne Tiny Morton, who led his team over Dykeman boys 45-32. Wow. That is saying something big. And also, we're going to get into the state of New York City basketball. Also, top 20, 26 prospects. And we'll dabble into high school transfer portal and see who's staying and who's going and how that's going to look. Because, man, it's going to be kind of crazy. What do you say about that, Coach?
Yeah, man, the portal has been running rampant through New York City. And even though guys are definitely coming in, I mean, I see a lot of schools picking up new guys. I don't know if you've been following my Luhi editions. They've been adding a new monster every day, it seems. But
yo, let's get into that real quick, B, before we start the show, man, because this is kind of crazy right here.
Yeah, it was funny. I kind of reached out to the coach's staff over there, and my guy Jay David said, "You better get ready, B, for some reporting because I got a lot of studs coming in, and they really did their recruiting. They're in Peach Jam, and they not even that they recruited, but they saw a lot of kids, and they had a lot of conversations, man, and they're bringing in a point guard from the DMV who I know Pooh is going to be excited about, Jamal McKnight. I mean, he's going to be the next Nigel James kind of prototype. They got Caden Allen from Florida, who everyone is up in arms. They can't believe he's leaving. Leaving Florida. He was at Mount Verde and I think Zephyr Hills. He's a great glue guy. Tons of offers. Then they got Christian Proctor, this exciting wing from DeMatha as well. And they got kid TJ Crumble, a Pooh. I'm telling you, 2026, he's a stud. He's got like 30-something offers, fantastic guard. And they just added a 6'7" kid today. And Jay David said he's not done yet. So Luhi making a really quick reload on an exciting roster.
Listen, I got a chance to speak to Mr. McKnight during the New York versus New York game, and he told me that, and I was just like,
wow,
man, you coming to New York, kid?
Right? Ready for the lights, man.
Definitely reminds me of Nigel James. Definitely.
Yeah, and listen, they need a guy to go with Dylan Mingo who, definitely has point guard ability, but is comfortable off the ball as well, making plays. You need a guy to kind of handle that workload as, a ball handler and primary point guard. So he kind of fits in perfectly with him. I think he'll get along with Crumble and those other guys, right away. And they're going to add some big guys. So get ready for Luhi, man. They're coming for everybody.
And now we can start the show.
Let's do it.
It's just killing me. I'm not getting any music on my. Well, we're gonna do it without the intro tonight because I added some new pieces to the intro because we in season 3. I don't understand why is it my intro playing right now. This is kind of crazy. Hold on. Yeah, it should be playing. Who knows? I don't know. But we're not going to sit there and let that stop the show. Let's bring on our first guest. You know, it's always something going on. Definitely.
Always, man.
All right. All right. Our first guest tonight. She's the founder of Ballin' Out Loud, City Championship, coach at South Shore, and also she's part of the New York Supremacy, basketball supremacy that went on this year at Stevenson High School. Me, my guy, Coach Ron Kirk, put on for the top players in the state. She played a very integral part, and she is the new and only West 4th Championship head coach, Coach Kim Denton.
Yeah.
Yeah. Salute,
That's
salute,
right,
salute,
baby.
salute, salute.
What's good, y'all? What's good?
Yes. Salute.
What's
I see you
goody?
got the net. You looking
I had to
still
bring it
fresh.
out. I had to bring it
Wow.
out. You know, West Fourth ain't have one, so we had to bring it out.
Man, that was awesome. That was awesome, man.
Nah, that was a great. It was a great 2 games, semifinals and the championship.
Yes. Let's just tell me what was the experience like
Yeah,
coaching
how
at
was
the
it?
first of all, let's talk about the previous New York versus New York, which I know you was a part of, and now becoming head coach and doing what you did this summer.
So I got bought in like about 3 years ago from Curtis Smith. He's also at Robeson, so we went to Robeson together. He called me, asked me to come in. That's when Fred Fortune from Family Academy was still head coach. So I took that position, came in and was working with Fred. We made it to the chip that year and we lost to, of course, Gersh with Ari Little and Monty. So and then the next year after that was when Nike came up with the idea to have all female coaches for the girls. So
Mm.
that's when I switched over. Um Last year we did good. We lost in the semis to Dykeman, so this was kind of personal. We lost in the semis to Dykeman when they brought in Aaliyah Chavez. So, you know, as soon as we lost is as soon as I started recruiting, and it just worked out. The pieces came together this year, and they played great, and now we're here.
Now, coach, is that something you like to do? Kind of like put your GM hat on and kind of design a roster? Because it's got to be fun. I mean, your group was so good this year; they were tough, and like you said, every game felt a little personal for those girls. You know.
So a lot of those girls never even been to New York.
Mm.
So it wasn't more of it was just more of making sure like seeing the landscape of how it's done for New York versus New York, and just making sure I didn't feel that I felt last year, you know. Um, but the smiling faces and the parents that were involved was the good thing. It felt good to just have parents that really wanted their kids to be here. Even the parents were here, so you know that's the part that I like the most.
Yeah, what was it like teaming up with Coach Noel, another city championship head coach for Mary Bertram?
So we bought an Noel been here for 2 years already. I think last year was his first year. I don't think he was here when I was with Fred, but he's been a great addition. This year I also added Janice Winters, which was at
Yes,
South Shore with me,
that's
and
right.
we also added Ant, that's from Lady TYP. I feel like um everybody plays a part. Everybody played an intricate part in this win. It wasn't one person. Everybody coached together and played a part. So some of us we already coached together at Castle Athletics. So We already knew each other.
Yeah.
Ant is probably the only one that's really freshly new.
Now, Coach, were there any girls that kind of really blew you away with how much that they've improved? That really impressed you with how they played? And who would you say is kind of the most impressive celebrity or basketball player that you've seen at a NY versus NY event?
Um, so some of the girls, basically, I've only seen via Instagram, but everybody posts highlights from Instagram.
Yeah,
So you don't really know them until you see them in person
yeah.
and you're coaching them. But I feel like everybody pulled together and played their games. But of course, Jordan Jackson, she was the key piece. She was the most hunted kid, I'm sure, because everybody couldn't figure out how did I get her to play for West Fourth. Because last year I think she played for Watson, so she was the key piece. Then Morgan Stewart was a great addition. She came the second week. She missed the first week due to OTE, but she came the second week and she put on because we lost Oshana Holland, who killed in the first weekend at Jamboree. And then Morgan Stewart came in and picked up the pieces and got right to it.
Mm.
So like everybody played a key role. Nobody wasn't selfish. Everybody just wanted to win and make history or herstory.
I like that. I like that. I like that. I spoke to you a while back when we were doing the New York basketball head supremacy all-star game, and we
Mhm.
talked about New York versus New York and what it would be like having only New York City players. And you said that it probably wouldn't be as entertaining. Do you still agree with that statement?
Yes. Um, it's sad to say, but the development of New York kids is nowhere near the development as the DMV kids, as other states, period. It don't even have to be a certain state. Due to the fact that they get the gym whenever they want to. We struggle here. We got to go through all this red tape to have an open gym, and that's what causes the development to go down. Also, all these trainers charging $100 an hour for kids that don't have it like that. So the development in New York is not the same as these out of state kids.
And
Mm.
Coach, you think gym time could really make a big impact on that if you guys
Gym
got
time makes a huge impact.
yeah,
When I was growing up, we didn't need school safety to open a school, so that made it so much easier to
yeah.
get a gym, get a middle school, get a gym, whatever. And once that uh part came into play, it was so much harder for you to get access to a school. And then some schools have a rule where it has to be administrative on the premises. So all the red tape is what you're not even able to have gym time or have extra time for workouts for these other kids. Like Catholic schools have it the best because you don't need all of that. They get all their coaches. So when I was at Lockland before, all your coaches get a key to the gym. You don't have to ask nobody to open it up. You can just go and have workouts whenever you want.
Mm.
Um, what's your perspective on coaching highly ranked girls and pairing them up with New York City players, and how is that an advantage for both New York City players and the highly ranked girls?
I had this conversation with another coach of ours from South Shore, but coaching them is kind of similar like coaching our own kids at South Shore. The only difference is their IQ is higher.
Mm.
So when you're telling them like to you don't really have to even really draw as much on the board because they already know it. They already get what you're trying to say. You understand? The IQ was there, and then just the will to just keep playing and not giving up is there. So I tell you, when the lights came on, they performed. Saturday, I feel like they were more scared because it was a lot of lights.
A
um,
lot of lights.
and a lot of lights. So I feel like Saturday we were more nervous. And it took some time to get the nervousness out, and Jordan pulled it out. Like every pointed, every point counted. And we got to the chip. So
Wow, that was awesome. That was awesome. B, you should have been there, man. It was amazing. And uh
amazing.
I wanna just, let's talk about this right here, right? Jordan Jackson, uh, what did she bring to the team that kind of made her her, right? She was already her before she got to y'all, but what was it about Jordan Jackson and how she made everyone better, including the coaches?
She brought like the dog mentality. Like I'm gonna just say like for this game on Saturday, we're trying to draw up a last minute play, and she's just like, just give me the ball. She brought that part. Like, just give it to me. I
Love
know
it.
what I'm gonna do, and I'm taking it to the basket. You understand? So she brought that. I want it. I want to win. That mentality. That part of her, and I can tell you no lie. During I'm not gonna say recruiting process because that's not it, but during the time and I'm bouncing off of her girls we could get to come play with us. She was like, Coach, I got it. Like, we good. We good with what we have. And I tell you no lie, she proved it. We was good with what we had.
And now, coach, like at what point, in the final stretch as you guys were playing, terrific. At what point did you think, all right, like we got this? These girls are going to close it out, and I'm about to cut this net down. Was there any point in the game, or did it go all the way to the buzzer?
I'm not even gonna lie. I feel like it went all the way to the buzzer.
It happens all the time,
It,
coach. Yeah,
it started off. Sorry about that, B. It started off like it was just going to be a clean sweep, and then
yeah,
Yeah.
Dykeman came out and hit like about 8 or 9 threes,
yeah.
and it just became a different ball game.
So it was they did come out, getting the jitters out real good. But everybody knows basketball is a game of runs.
Of course.
So we get our run, they got their run, then they started getting that little lead. Like they probably went up 9 the most, I think.
Mm,
Um, but the best thing was, um, which I feel like was the start of us coming back, was they couldn't score in the fourth quarter. We changed our defense to the 1-3-1, and they couldn't score. They scored 2 points in the fourth quarter. I don't know if anybody really noticed that because uh, third quarter was like 51-44.
Hmm.
So the game ended, it was what, 57-51 or something like that, 53. So they only scored 2 points in the fourth quarter, and that's what really took us over the hump. They couldn't score.
It
They
was
only hit
50. It
one
was
three.
58, 54.
Yeah, they only hit one. I think it was 53. They had 51 at the end of the third, and then they only had one layup. They didn't shoot no free throws. They only had one layup. But whatever it is, the defense really locked them down. They couldn't really hit no threes. They hit one three at the second half, but all the threes that they was making in the first half, got out the way. So the thing that did it for me was when their point guard slipped and Janiyah Hargrave stole it and then made the layup that put us up. And then everybody started clicking. Mia Green was hitting she hit the big three, she hit a floater, and then after that, when you look up, it's 10 seconds left. So that game really came down to it. It wasn't really nothing that's gonna be like, oh no, we got it, except us playing some great defense. It was back and forth for a while, but if you look at it, we played great D in that fourth quarter.
Now, is it true that you drew up a play for the game-winning shot, and Jordan took it upon herself and told the play taking out the ball, "Just give me the ball, I got it." And what was your reaction afterwards? Because obviously that was the play that I drew up, but it
So
worked.
the play was drawn up. It was really by Coach Noel that drew it up.
Okay.
and they just lined it up a different way. The play was to get her the ball, though. Like,
Yeah.
at the end, we already know who was our go-to. She was the hot hand at that time, so the play was already to get her the ball. But I could definitely see, like I said, she's the dog. She's the one that's like, give it to me, I got us. So, and it worked.
Yeah.
The big girl Jayla set the perfect screen,
Yeah.
and there you had it.
And you just love hearing that confidence from a player. Even if she knew you guys were probably drawing up a play for her, at least she let the team know, like, hey, I got this, girls. Like, just believe in me. I'm ready to go. But so what's the expectations for next year, coach? I mean, I'm sure they're sky high. Are you already hitting the trail or what?
I started the next day. So I never, I didn't take off. We was in our group chat. We already started sending pictures and stuff like that. Kids are hitting up multiple coaches, wanting to play with
Uh,
West Fourth for next summer. Trying to lock in early.
you're gonna have to
So
turn some girls down, coach.
Yeah.
that's gonna be the hard part.
It
That's
is.
gonna be the hard part.
And
But
West Fourth, they got to stick with you. They can't change it now. Got to be you and Noel. Like we got to be. This is it. The boys never even won a championship.
They just
So
got a
yeah.
lifetime deal, I think. No, come on,
yeah.
We just locked in. They just locked in.
it better be.
But I can't front like West Fourth family has welcomed me with open arms since the switch. And before that, I've known Kenny growing up because I used to play in West Fourth myself. Won a championship in West Fourth before, so I've always been around. I've been around basketball all my life, so especially in the New York area. So I know a lot of people. Um, but I'm just happy we finally made it over that hump.
Mm.
Yeah, that was a big part.
What lessons that you learned this summer that's going to help you in the future? Like, what were some of the things that you could take, you know, and put in your knots in your belt and say, you know what, I'm gonna take this with me, and this is the things that I learned throughout the summer.
Uh, just to enjoy the moment. It's different. See, South Shore, we going on winning number 10. The girls don't even make it like uh they don't make it fun anymore. Like they win a championship, they don't even jump up and down. They don't run on the court. Like is the weird it's a weird dynamic over there. Um Castle, I won a chip with Janice together, and they jump up and down, and go on the court and stuff like that. But winning your own can never winning your own, coaching your own is never the same as coaching with somebody. So just enjoying the moment.
Nah, that's real.
I love that.
Yeah, hey coach, we definitely wanted to celebrate you, and you my homie Kim, so I had to make sure we put the spotlight on you. And
Um,
and yo B, I told her, I said, yo, come on and do the girls.
Yeah.
Come on the show and do the girls. Like you already got your hand tapped into the culture of New York City. You
Yeah.
know way more about the girls
Yeah.
situation that we do. And I
mm,
think that just would bring, an extra additive ear and eyes, expert set of ears and eyes to the platform. If you wanted to come on and join us. I think that
Yeah.
would be
I
dope.
think you dropped some real knowledge, like that was, I know it wasn't easy to say for coach, but it was real. Like she wants these girls to be more developed. There needs to be more gym time. She wants the state of NYC basketball for girls to be better. And, I thought that was great. And, we appreciate you so much from the All-Star game and everything you've done for us. And so great to celebrate you tonight. As soon as I saw that you were the one that won, I was like, let's go, coach.
That's
I was
right.
so
That's
fired
right.
up.
That's right. I was in the stands cheering the whole
Oh
time. Like,
yeah, man. Are you kidding me?
yeah,
I'm
and
like,
not,
coach that team. I'm like, oh my
not
god, let's go.
nah, that's a
Nah,
fact.
thank y'all. I always help out any way I can. And y'all trusted me to help y'all with y'all. Great idea. So, any way I can help out, I'm always here for it.
Let us know you ready this year. We can, we can tap that and make this happen. Put a schedule together, and whenever you want to come on, be like, yo, Pool, I want to set this day aside so we can highlight these girls and bring them on and just give them more exposure. We do our part by we bring in during the high school basketball week, we try to balance it up with the boys and girls. But I think with your knowledge and your eyes and ears out there, we can tap in a little bit more and just make this a universal thing, because just like we want to give the boys their credit, we want to give the girls their credit and highlight them as well.
Definitely, they deserve it. They definitely deserve it.
Yeah. So let us know.
Got you.
All right.
Thank you, Coach.
All right.
All right.
Thank y'all, guys. Thank y'all so much.
No doubt.
All right.
Appreciate you.
Mhm.
Man.
We got to get Coach a key, man. This is absurd, bro. This is absurd.
Yeah.
I'm ready to take on the whole PSCL. We got to get these coaches keys, man.
It's bad, man. Yeah, it's bad.
I never even thought of that. And I've coached like 7 different sports for high school teams. I've never had to worry about that in my life of somebody having to open up the gym ever. It's crazy.
And they got to have public safety there as well.
Yeah.
And they won't open up the gym if they're not getting their overtime and their cut. So it's not.
Yeah, of course.
It's crazy.
Wow, man.
It's crazy, man.
So good for Coach, though, man. That was an awesome, and I love it. I love already hitting the next year's squad, man. She's
already. She ain't waiting. No need to wait. No need to wait. So I've been, creating my list, right, for the top players in the city. I'm going to do PSCL and Catholic together, and then I'm going to do just a New York one as well. That's going to include the Luhis and the OSL players as well. I think it's just time to expand it as a whole.
Yeah.
Right. This never met him before, but I'm gonna give him his props. He runs New York Hoop World, and he's been doing his rankings and top players and things like that. And that's the guy when we did the draft.
Yep.
Right. So he's been collaborating with me with some of his posts and things like that, and definitely want to highlight the things he's doing, because I thought the draft was a cool thing to do.
Yeah,
and
for
to be
sure.
a part of.
Good to get some graphics out there. The guys, like people love looking at that. And it's good stuff, and he's building something and getting some notoriety. So it's really nice to help that guy out, and I think he's doing some good stuff too. So glad you brought him up, because I like everything he's doing, and it just gets me excited for the season, man. I mean, what do you think of all this movement going on in the PSAL and the Catholic League? I mean, a lot of teams are going to look different, man.
Man, it's again, I guess by now we're kind of used to it, right?
Yeah.
We're kind of used to the movement was going on that started. I think all this started, 2 years ago. I know it was going on for a long time, but it's way more players are moving now than ever, right? And it's changing programs. And look, we'll wait for our next guest to come on to talk about one of his big moves, big pieces that's going back home. But what I did, I just want to give you a sneak peek of what I started to do. I'm not going to fully release everything now.
I like it. Everybody's been dropping their rankings between ESPN, Sports Center, Made Hoops, 24 on 3. A lot of people have been dropping rankings, so it's the right time.
Yeah. So this is what I did so far. Right. So as you can see, I got Big O, I got Josiah Jervis, I got Darius, of course, Jada, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And the rest of the guys on here that's gonna fill us out. But I think one of the surprising guys I got is Tyler, right? From Achievement First. Tyler Romeo has been having an amazing summer.
You think he makes the biggest jump? I mean, first of all, he was freaking awesome this year. So it's hard to say the biggest jump because he was so good this year. But do you think he's kind of made like that jump from kind of like a solid PSLA point guard to like a Division I type kid? I mean, he
Yeah,
looks
look.
good.
Yeah, look. You gotta figure this kid got 2 more years,
Yeah, at least.
right?
At least.
He got 2 more years. He's getting his body right. He's definitely got the mind of a scorer. I want to see him initiate and being a point guard. Hold on for a sec. Yeah, we on, Tiny. I said we on right now. So whenever you're ready to come in, the link is in your email. Yeah. All right. So our next guest about to come on in a few minutes. Just call me right in the middle of the show. You could just text Tiny. It's all good. But me being able to watch him in the Borough Basketball League, right? Seeing him get better and better and better. He won MVP in the All-Star game. And he just been consistent all the way through. And he's a guy that everyone was chasing to move to the 4A, and he's staying home. And I think that says a lot about a young man who everybody's been chasing, and he's going to stay home and ride it out and try to win another city championship. You know, just like Gio Morant. Gio, everybody been chasing down Gio. Think he's staying home at Eagle, and of course Lewis Moss, who's been having a huge summer so far.
Lewis Moss is your guy.
Yes. Oh yeah, for sure. I've been raving about him since last year.
Oh, you've been raving about him? I like that.
Yeah. So this just give y'all a little taste of some of the players I'm gonna be highlighting.
What do you think of Ray's coming up?
Man, Ray's I want to see them. I'm going to see them next week at up at Smart Ball. So this is where I get a chance to look at them and see how they're coming together.
They're going to be pretty spicy coming up this year.
Look, when you lose 2 big pieces like you know, the pieces that's moved on to college, Brandon and Ty, I think it's going to open up the floodgates for other players to actually tap into.
It allows your team to kind of like, all right, this guy's hot. We got to feed him instead of saying like we got to get our guy going. He's a stud, you know.
Right.
And I mean, those 2 guys are all-time greats and city legends. But I'm going to be interested to see what Coach Lopez does with these guys. I think they're going to be very good defensively, a lot of pieces, and I think they might have some good young guys coming in too.
Oh yes, for sure. So we definitely gonna see how they're developing. I'm going with the Smart Ball, and this is where I get a chance to look at a lot of the other teams. But achievement first, they beat St. John's Prep, and I heard that they put the clamps on Soul Food to get that win, man. So we'll see how they're developing, and the rest of the city is coming along. Yeah. Well. Okay, so now our next guest,
Cole Baby,
is a New York City legendary head coach who gained legendary status at Abraham Lincoln High School, winning 9 city championships, 4 state championships, and then moving on to become assistant coach at Seton Hall. They're coming back to New York City to win another state championship, a city championship at Lincoln before moving on to Nazareth High School. And he has spent a year as the head coach at the now closed Lawrence Woodmere Academy. Please welcome to the stage Dwayne Tiny Morton, who also came to New York versus New York.
The champ.
And remain being Thanos. This dude is Thanos, y'all. How many rings this guy's going to win? Soon as he come back on the scene, if he leaves and come back, you can guarantee he's going to win the city championship. There's no way you guys can deny him. There's no way you can deny him. They beat Dykeman 45-32 in New York versus New York this summer. Please welcome to the show, Dwayne Tiny Morton. Thanos, what's up, man?
What's up?
I'm surprised you ain't got all your rings, man, and the big trophy in the back, man.
Lord of the Rings here, baby.
I can't do that.
They wouldn't fit on the screen, huh?
No, it's like showing off. But I wish I had the trophy that you didn't mention.
Yeah. And look, he got a bottle of wine.
Listen,
First time and Basketball Heads or High School Basketball Weekly. You got the coach cracking a bottle of wine, getting comfortable. Hey, coach, get comfortable, man. Get comfortable, man. Because I think this is going to be something that the people are going to want to see and hear. Because we got a lot to talk about.
I was saying, you didn't mention the chip in your event.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, I forgot.
Summer
Yeah, but that and
Wow.
listen.
Wow.
I think that was the precursor, right? I think we wanted to show people, yeah, I'm gonna come back and win this, right? He did win the Battle of New York Supremacy. He did win that one, and I think that was just like, okay, now I'm going to this New York versus New York thing, and I'm gonna win this whole too. So you're right. I gotta blow my own whistle on that. That's right. I gotta protect myself.
Yeah.
I got it, Ayatollah. I got it. That's right. He did win the championship in the Battle of New York Supremacy. And look, I just knew in the back of your head, you just like, yeah, this is, something that I'm just gonna come and just let everybody know that I'm back on the scene, then go to street ball and do the same thing on a very big stage, man. So I definitely apologize for that. My fault, B. I should have mentioned our own event. That's right.
It's a fact. It's a fact.
Yes. So go ahead, B, man. Let's start this. So let's jump right into it, man.
Are we going Lincoln first or NY versus NY first? Because I'm down for either. Where we
Let's
going?
go. Let's go to NY versus NY first. Let's and before we start treading the waters, right? Because it gives
So,
more people
so
time to cover.
Tiny, talk us through and tell the people how'd you even end up with your team?
I couldn't hear that question. I heard part of it.
I was saying, Tiny, tell everybody how'd you end up with your team at NY versus NY?
Oh,
Doing everything.
I mean, to me, it was a no-brainer to include most of the kids that play with me at LWA. It was a no-brainer. I mean, I think the best way to have a team is to have some kids that know each other. You know, after that, you just gotta get some more pieces to add to the puzzle. And I think the most important piece is your staff. So the staff was probably the second thing I was thinking about after I knew I had a couple of pieces on my LWA team. So, obviously, when you seen me this year, you seen Kenny Sack, so that was a no-brainer. We was actually contemplating with Park because I heard that Kenny Sack was looking to or has some mentions of coaching at Dykeman. And if that was the case, then I would have been his assistant. But that never materialized. So I spoke to Mousy maybe during the season. Me and Mousy had conversations about that during the season, but it didn't really come to happen until we figured out his staff. And the staff was important. I grabbed Zamal. Then we had Kareem Reed was definitely part of Mousy situation for years. So that staff was important. The staff helped us tremendously in terms of when it comes to kids deciding to play with our team, they couldn't talk about the experience we had as coaching staff. So that was great.
Yeah,
Outside of that,
what made you get into what made you we hear the talk, but what got you to get into the New York versus New York space? Because you sat back and you watched for years before you even got down with it.
yeah, I mean it's a couple of things. Like you said, I watched, and it was amazing the way the city gravitated to the whole situation. It was the kind of basketball that I would love to be a part of because it was almost high level basketball that it was hard to see in the city. So
And that right there was definitely appealing. And I think the attention to the details when it came to how New York put the kids first. And I think that was major for me, because the kids, without good players, without kids, you can't win anything. So I definitely respected that, So and I watched Gary and Gersh, have so much fun doing it. I sat on their bench a couple of times and watched how much fun they had. So when the opportunity was presented for me to coach, it was a no brainer.
And Coach, I wanted to piggyback a little bit on what you were saying. And you mentioned a little bit of how how great he's been, but talk to us and tell everyone about Coach Sat and how important he's been to you and New York City basketball. Because everything I see him coaching, involved with, he's all in. He coaches with his heart. He's all in. Great guy, and just tell us about Coach Sat.
Yeah, exactly. Sat was the kind of guy who I watched as well. I don't think he knew I was watching him, but you know, every time I seen Sat coaching on the sideline, like you said, with his heart into it, I knew he wanted to coach. So
Yeah,
when I got the opportunity to coach at LWA, Sat was probably one of the guys. Obviously he was involved with one of the top players in the city, so that didn't matter, you know. But the fact that I see he wanted to, coach that kid as well, that's the first thing I said to him. I said, you might as well come over here with me, so you could be part of the kid's, success. It's kind
yeah,
of hard doing it on the sideline. So he's been very important. And one of the things that me and Seth always speak about is that New York City always try to divide us, especially by boroughs.
yeah,
And he had mentioned something. I'm not gonna say nobody's name, but he had mentioned something during the season. Somebody asked him, "How did you get connected with Tiny? He's from Brooklyn, he's from the Bronx. How's that gonna work? This
yeah,
and that." And, I love challenges, so
yeah.
that was fun.
And come on, plenty of those guys from those two boroughs have figured it out. No, Tiny.
Yeah, yep.
Now, Coach, was anybody on your roster this year that really kind of impressed you and was kind of just, behind the scenes, really doing his thing and helped you guys get to the championship? Maybe that didn't pop, maybe not an Anderson Diaz, but somebody else on the roster who really kind of stepped up and was the big reason for you guys kind of winning.
I mean, obviously, Kamari was a big piece. The first time I heard about Kamari was with Zamal
Mm,
Nixon, because he coached him on the AAU side. So I wasn't too sure we can get him or not, because I thought
yeah,
he was going to be an obvious pick for Gersh, being that he played with New Heights. So that was the obvious one that was a big part of our puzzle, even though he didn't play at LWA. But the thing I felt that was important was also playing in Pro City, because in Pro City it's a different type of basketball where we the underdogs,
yeah,
So we the underdogs, and so we can go over there and probably grind a little bit more, or we can really try to do some real coaching. Whereas New York, it's like it's street ball. It's street ball to the finest, but it's more or less one-on-one competition where it's fun. So as a coach, you want the kids to have fun. At the same time, you want the kids to learn.
Listen, you guys didn't just participate in Pro City. You guys got to the Final Four, and also Anderson Diaz became the youngest MVP in Pro City history. What does that mean to you, and all the things that you have accomplished, and being having the presence of mind to put high school kids in a pro am, in a real pro am league?
Yeah, that was it was major. Me and Bernard was talking. Me and Bernard spoke about that before it happened, and we still got a little argument on who idea was, but I knew it was me. But I'm gonna let Bernard have that. I just thought that when I heard some college coaches mention that they wasn't recruiting high school kids, I was trying to find another way to show that New York City kids could play on a certain level.
Mm.
And that was my idea about that. I didn't think it was going to happen because I didn't think they was going to allow us to have a total high school team. But my idea was to get those kids, or at least some of the kids, to play in Pro City. But the fact that Bernard and Pro City allowed us to play as a team was major. It was major, and I was so excited and happy about that more than anything this summer.
You know what? Before you jump into this beat, I want to say this as well. You know, along with Pro City and winning New York versus New York, the one thing I was so impressed by is that you believed in your kids that you coached at Lawrence Woodmere. Like that, when you look on the court, and I was saying that to a lot of people, and people had to think about it. It's like, yo, that's right. He had 3 players for almost the whole game that you trusted and knew that these guys know my system and know what I expect, and I trust these guys to take us to the promised land. Why was that so important to have the kids that you coached from the prior year into the summer?
I mean, it's very important as a coach to know what your kid's gonna do on the floor, especially when it's pressure. The funny thing about New York, I didn't realize the added pressure until I started hearing about Tri-State's record, and Mousy and his daughter and his grandchild. I was like, wow, this ain't about me. It's not about New York City. It's about Tri-State and New York City. So that was a little bit added pressure. So as you notice, each game became more important. So if for most people that didn't watch us, our first 2 games, or even our first game, I was coaching freely. I played 10, 11 guys. We scored a lot of points. But each game, I realized, you know what? I'm gonna have to do this for Mousy, Especially when Mousy fainted in the gym. I
Oh
was like,
yeah.
oh shit, Mousy just fainted. So this shit is very important.
Yeah.
So yeah, I held that to the heart, man. I put pressure on myself to definitely try to win that.
And what do you think of the overall like NY versus NY experience, Tiny? Did you enjoy it? Are you gonna do it next year?
Um, I enjoyed it sometimes. Some part of the games I didn't enjoy it because
Yeah.
there's a lot of things. A lot of people want. It's a big ticket.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
just imagine those guys was selling tickets.
Mm.
But it's a big ticket. It's amazing big ticket. The gate list is crazy. It's something that I don't think I've ever seen before in New York City basketball. Like even back in the days with Golden Hoops, I think we had to pay to get inside Golden Hoops.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, so it was a little bit different. Here, it's free. So when it's free, you get more people. But the crowds was amazing. The setup. Too bad it was too many. It was a lot of games indoors, but those guys do a great thing, a great job putting on for New York City.
And just in case those people who weren't there, this is kind of what it looked like.
You see the 2 greatest coaches in high school and play outside. That's it. Got you. We ain't got a panic. Come on, man. Ain't got a panic. That's all I need. Come on. Find them. It's good. It's good today. We got a new champ. We got a new champ. Just get it on. No panic. We got a new champ. Caleb, seal the deal. Seal the deal. Seal the deal. Seal the deal. Kick it up. Go. Cash, just get it back. Cash, yeah, call the scummy. He can come outside now.
All right, I was just trying to show highlights. I just wanted to show people what it looked like and how big it was. Like tiny.
Standing
If they charge people, then they're gonna have to start giving out some NIL money.
That's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact. I mean,
whoa.
That's a fact. I mean, I told Andre Ambrose, who's in charge of New York to me. I told him the championship game should have been at the Barclay, but but then again, you can't take that street ball element out of the game. So I understood that. I also understood that when Mel and Diaz was going against each other. You can't take that away from the park. So
Yeah, that right there was something that again a lot of people was talking about, because in the beginning Mel came out flaming hot, and then you had C Will, like you should have saw he was going that tiny, like, yeah, what yo B, if you would have saw everything that was happening at those moments, and then towards the end of the game, after those two dunks, was crazy. Juju caught that dunk. His timeout. Tiny went and flexed like Thanos. Like, yeah, what? And again, that street ball element, that New York City bravado, two guys who know each other, coaching against each other, just talking smack. It was great. It was just great for New York. And I thought it was an awesome thing, man.
The funny thing about it, I think I got like 3 or 4 texts of people from out of state asking me to play next year.
Nice.
Wow. Get your phone right. Get your phone right, Tiny. There you go. He back. There you go. People calling right now. I guarantee people calling you right now.
Yeah, they was definitely texting me, trying to get down for next year.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. That is crazy, man. That is crazy. So, yeah, let's we got the fun part out of the way. Let's get into the real nitty-gritty, right? This past year, you decided to come back to high school basketball, and you took the job over at Lawrence Woodmere Academy. How did you decide to come back? Why did you decide to come back and take the job there? And how was that first year experience with all those players that you surrounded yourself with?
That's not that question, or those questions, it stems from probably the last 6 years of my life coaching. I gotta take it back to the essence a little bit. I gotta take it back, and it's kind of sensitive to me, because when I left Lincoln to go to Seton Hall, it was a family team decision, and the fact that my son and my daughter and Desi and Isaiah, we was all on campus at the same time, on flights at the same time, playing on TV at the same time. That was amazing. So I couldn't turn that down. But obviously Isaiah and Desi and my son was doing their part. So my second thought was my pension. Like I was 23 years in.
Yeah.
25 years, and I'm straight.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons why I came back to Lincoln.
Yeah.
And obviously when I got back to Lincoln, we went right to the trip. I think we went to the trip.
Yeah.
That same year. Rock Kimmelfeld, broke his foot, but he ended up going to South Carolina University. So that was definitely a positive. So then the following year, we went to states. Beat some good teams the whole year. I think we went undefeated in the states. So my third year at Lincoln, the powers that be at the PSCL decided that he can't win another one. So the only way to stop him is to disqualify some of his players.
Yeah.
And that right there hit me hard. It hit me very hard, because every player that came to Lincoln was looking at the people that were successful and thought that, this was the route.
Yeah.
And me speaking to families, and families talking about, I just want my kid to get a scholarship and this and that. And for the powers that be just to say, you know what? These 5 players can't play anymore. Until today, those families still didn't get a reason from the PSCL why they got suspended. And that hurt kind of bad. So that made me leave Lincoln, because I thought it was something personal with me.
Yeah.
So I basically said, you're not gonna punch the kids. I really punished myself, so I left Lincoln with the option of. I spoke to the AD over there, and I told her, I said, I'm gonna leave, and when the PSCL administration changed a little bit, I'll come back.
Mm.
But obviously that didn't happen. So I went to Nazareth.
Yeah.
And going over to Nazareth, it was like it was a breath of fresh air. I was the AD and the coach. So going over there, it was new life. I had a little bit more. I was a little bit more motivated to coach basketball. Than going over there, and we allowed to recruit
Yeah.
on a
Sophomore
certain
transfers,
basis.
right, Tiny?
Say that again.
Sophomore transfers, right, Coach?
Yeah, we had. I mean, just to think about the kids that was on that team is amazing. Because,
Insane.
yes,
Name some of those players, Tiny, because I
Wait
don't
till you
think
hear
people
the
realize how the amount of talent that you had over there.
yeah,
insane.
we had, and I hope I don't forget everyone, but we had the Coney Island kids. We had Prescott. We had Jakai. We had TJ and
Yep.
TJ actually TJ and Prescott. Came from Lincoln with
Yep.
me. And then we had the Brantley. We had Talor. It's a couple of names, a couple of kids that end up going big time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you had Jakai Murray on that team.
Yeah,
Ty Mel.
Jakai Murray.
I think you had Ukenna Smith on that team.
Kenna, my godson. Kenna came with me too. Yeah, wow.
Think about that,
Wow.
man.
I have a picture of
Yeah,
that team, and I'm just like, this team is just unbelievable.
yeah. And it's crazy because I didn't know how much you had to do as a coach in order to really build a team in the Catholic League. It's not that easy. Everybody think it's easy, but it's not that easy. And the biggest thing is resources in the Catholic League. So I was able to get some funds for the entire team.
Yeah.
I was doing I was doing rentals, and those rentals and the money from the rentals paying the kids scholarship. So that was the little thing
Explain what
that.
rentals are, so people have an idea. If you could get a little bit more in depth on that.
So we was doing gym rental. Well, not gym rentals. We was doing cafeteria rentals. I was probably coming home 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning from cleaning up for rentals, giving the cash right to giving the cash to the administration to pay tuition. It was a grind, but it was a fun grind. It was something that I had a little bit more control of. And the crazy thing about it, people was telling me, we was going to the double A the next year.
Yeah.
We actually lost in the Final Four to a former NBA pro right now, Kyle. Big Kyle went to Duke. He was at Fordham.
Yeah, Fordham Prep.
He was at
Philip.
Fordham Prep.
Yep.
Yep. So we ain't lose to some bums, but we lost to somebody that's a pro now,
Yeah.
which is amazing. And then I think I'm not sure if the Nazareth administration was ready for me, and what they did was so surprising. It was hurtful as well. They started telling me that the money that I was making for the kids' tuition, I couldn't use it for everybody's tuition anymore. So I was like, how's that possible to even bring some top players in here? So that year, Coach Savanis at the practice school, he actually see me in the summertime, and he had proposed if I come over for 1 year, I could be the head coach the following year. And that same year, we had Kaminga, we had Samson, we had Adama. We had one of the best teams in the country.
Yeah.
So that was a no-brainer for me. So I ended up leaving Nazareth. But I knew the administration was not gonna let the kids suffer too much. So they hired Gary, which was great for me. So you can keep the program running.
Yeah.
But that was another thing that a lot of people think that I get up and I just run. But a lot of times, I think my moves is calculated. Most of the time, it's about the kids, man. It's about the kids,
And listen, coach, sometimes you can see the writing on the wall that people can't. You're inside, you see things, you're with these people every day. You can get a lot more inside information being in the building than outside. It's easy for people on the outside to make comments, oh, he may run this like that. It's like, hey man, if this situation isn't for me, I'm not going to waste my time here. I'm going to move on. So, you know.
Yeah, yeah, that's life. I mean, as we can see today, the things that's happening today with the NIL and players transferring, a lot of these coaches getting celebrated for that. Back in the days, a lot of people in New York City used to hate if
Yeah.
a kid left the Catholic League and played with me and then go to college and for free and then go make some money. They didn't care about the kid going to college and making money out of the game. They cared about Tiny taking the kid from a school. They didn't care about the kids really. They only care about the coach, what the
Yeah.
coach is doing.
And look,
It's like
the transfer high school transfer portal is on and popping. That right? And I mentioned this in the beginning of the show. Like this been going on, but now it's going on at a mass scale, and no one is saying anything.
yeah,
Kids are transferring from in and out of from PSCL to PSCL school, being able to play, and no one is saying anything. When you did it, get tiny. Big
yes,
articles. It's just like, let's get this man and stop him from winning. Let's talk about that, right? Because and also you mentioned the rental things of being having an open gym. Kim Denton said that one of the biggest reasons that girls basketball is hurting New York City players
Gym
and not
space.
having access to the gym, right?
yes.
And that's just one part of it. But let's just speak on that and the transferring and how easy kids can transfer now, and back then how they gave you such a hard time.
Well, I think New York. I don't think I know. New York City basketball is so stuck on tradition at a fault sometimes because basketball is changing every day. And if I think New York State is the only state that don't really change or don't adapt to what's going on in the world of basketball, in the business of basketball. And a lot of people don't like change or don't want to change, and it doesn't help. It doesn't help the families. It's sad. It's sad because when when COVID hit, that's when I was at the Patrick School. So we all sat down. And we all had to just sit down and look at the state of the game or your life. And I spent 2 years of just watching and observing what was going on. And I realized that basketball in New York State, it's operating like a dinosaur,
Mm.
you know, especially when, I'm teaching in elementary school and we got pre-K or 3K. We got our athletes going to school at 3 years old, graduating at 16, not physically developed, not, academically developed, not athletically developed, but we compete with everybody in the country that's now has academies, you know, and these academy kids is coming out 18, 19 years old,
20.
20 sometimes, being McDonald American. It's just it's not fair to New York State, and I keep saying that to people, but I guess people don't understand that. You got college guys getting 6 years, but you got high school guys not getting extra year because all kinds of reasons. I don't think it's fair, and I think that's one of the reasons why I went to LWA. I had a friend of mine call me and say, "Yo, there's a situation at Lawrence Woodmere that you can be on a different platform." So when I heard that, when I went over there, it was almost amazing because that was the thing I was talking about. We got to compete with the country. We got to have academies. So when I went over there and I spoke to the headmaster, he told me everything that I need to hear. I said everything I'm supposed to hear. And that's one of the reasons why, I'm a little frustrated because I didn't even know the questions to ask
Mm.
in terms of would this school be, would this school still be here in the next 5 years? That's the question I should have asked.
Mm.
So that right there, it was really frustrating because I kind of found out maybe in November, December that the school was hurting. But at that time, we had kids transferring in already.
All
You
in,
know,
right?
Mm.
the
Yeah.
spotlight was on us. I
Yeah.
couldn't turn back. At one time I wanted to, go to the families like, listen, this is not permanent. This is temporary.
Yeah.
But I couldn't do it to the families. I promised the families that I was gonna, see it through and make sure we play at a certain level. I think I did that. I think I did that for a lot of kids. I think a lot of kids got better. A lot of kids got sane, and I think I did my part in that. But very frustrating about what I didn't know about the school, financial situation at LWA. And it still hurts today. It hurts today because a guy like me, I've been coaching for a long time, and at a certain point, you know, that's what you do. You coach.
Yeah.
You know, everything else is not important. So, when you're not in control on, where you can coach or how you can coach or finances, that's frustration. That was frustration, bro.
Now, Coach, I know you've been busy this summer. I've seen you coach a ton. I think I've seen you coach this summer more than I've seen you coach in years, but you've been busy. You've been out there. You've been everywhere. What's the next plan? Do you have anything coming up? Any idea what's next for Coach Morton?
Hold on. Before we even get there, I don't even want to get there yet. I don't want to get there yet. Let's hold that. Let's hold that for a second, right?
I
Because
got
we ain't finished digging. We got these shovels out and we just scraping the surface, baby. We just scraping the surface. And so everybody that's out there, you get a lot of people hit me in my DMs and texts and pointing the finger at Tiny like Tiny the reason the damn school closed, and that had nothing to do with him, as he just said. What they said was, I'm gonna give it to you, right? It says, with a heavy heart, the board of directors have made an incredible, difficult decision not to open Lawrence Woodmere Academy for the 2025-2026 academic year. The board of directors has made the incredible, difficult decision, and said nothing about Dwayne Tiny Morton. So one of the main reasons was their challenging financial situation, where revenue fell short of their operating expenses. The same thing that happened to All Hallows this year. This is not something that's new. This has been going on for years. Schools have been
yeah.
closing for years, especially independent schools, Catholic schools,
Especially
private schools.
small enrollment schools. I don't even know if Tiny knew how small the school was before he went there. LWA is one of the smallest schools in Long Island.
The only the thing that really bothers me is that information is not year to year. The
Yeah.
information is something that happens over time. So your school don't just close. It's
Yeah.
kind of like your school. For example, if somebody would have said to me, "Hey, I got an opportunity for you to coach, but our school's in quicksand,"
Yeah.
I, you know what? I just came from the Nazareth situation where I got to hustle money for kids.
Yeah.
I would have backed out of that. I would have backed out of that.
Yeah.
And I think that right there hurts a little bit more than anything because it's our people. It's our people that didn't give me all the information, and then I'm putting other families a part of somebody else quicksand. And that right there was hurtful. Like I didn't have to coach. Somebody brought me over there, told me it was gonna be a good situation. I didn't have to be there. You know, But let's move on forward. So that being said, yeah, I think the funny thing about it, as I watch the AAU scene, you got certain kids that came over to LWA that was at schools or situations where they wasn't that good to other people's eyes. Obviously, to my eyes, I thought these kids can play. During the AAU season, it's a fight. It's a fight for LWA kids. It had me. It had me so. It had me bugged out because I'm like, these the same kids who no one really thought about. Maybe Anderson Diaz, yes, but everybody else, just about nobody thought about. But this summer, this spring, every kid on my team just about had more than one option to play in these AU teams, which I was happy for them. That means what we did as a team during the winter, it worked. It definitely worked. And as we speak now, we got a lot of kids that's being recruited, like financially being recruited. From guys who I thought was my friends. So you got guys that's orphan kids, big money. Big money to go to different organizations. Which I'm not surprised, but I still think that even though every kid should be able to get paid, they also should get paid and get better as an individual.
Mm.
And me coaching kids like that in the past, I've seen the mistakes a lot of families make, and it's kind of hard for me to tell a family who might be struggling, don't take too much, take a little, but make sure your kid,
Right.
make sure your kids still grow.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be the one to say that. I can't say that. I can't say that. So
Wow, hold on. You got BMW said, so the school's closed for financial reasons only and other reasons too. They said, where are the kids transferring to? Inquiring minds want to know. Now, a lot was being said during the New York versus New York game about Anderson Diaz. And, you had Ching, you had my guy, Mr. Spicy. They were saying how he was making an announcement, and I didn't hear an announcement. I thought we was going to get the interview with him saying this is where he's going next. He's going to a new school. This is where he's going. Did you get any information about Anderson and other players, where they're going, and what's the situation with them now that Lawrence Woodmere is closing?
So when we got word that Lawrence Woodmere was going to send emails out to families that was closing, when I say we, basically me and Sat, we tried to have a plan for everyone that's involved. We wasn't just worrying about Anderson because we knew Anderson was probably had open doors all over the country.
Yeah.
But we was trying to make sure, or we was trying to get the kids to go somewhere to continue what they did last year, and we tried for months. This was something that, that, like I said, I kind of knew that the school was struggling, but we never really got the word that it was done. Throughout the whole year, even during the summer, we was told we good, we got the money, school's gonna stay open, so we move forward like that. But like I said, our first intentions was to keep the kids together. Let's find another home. But one thing I did say to myself, I'm not gonna persuade any kids to follow me or to follow anything I say, because I thought the kids proved that they can play basketball now. I know myself, maybe 4 or 5 schools called me and try to get me to come over and bring the kids.
Yeah.
But I didn't like the situation. I didn't like some of the situations, so I didn't entertain it.
Are
But
they all in New York, Tiny?
no, not at all.
Some of them were
Not at all. I actually went to go visit DME in Florida.
Yeah.
Me, and Anderson, his father, and Sat, we went to go visit DME as an option. We had, before I made a move to visit that school, I spoke to some of the other players, and they was open to the idea. You know, we went to go visit school in North Carolina. School in Jersey wanted us. We had schools in Long Island was calling, and it was a sad thing, and it was also a good thing that we built these kids up to now be wanted. You know, but as we speak today, I really don't know where none of the kids is going. I actually text Anderson after the semifinal game, and I said, "Yo, what's the announcement?" I don't know.
That's what I heard. It's like, yo, they
Where's the
making these
announcement?
announcements on the court, and Tiny don't even know where he's going.
I didn't even know. You know what I mean? So, which was crazy. I did have some guys from OTE call me. I had a good from OTE call me, and he said, "Yo, let me get your big guy." I said, "What big guy?" So and so. I said, "Okay, like, why you wondering what's going on? I heard your school closed." I said, "Okay." I got to talk to the father. But how much you offering? And it was some they offered it was some money. I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh no, let me call the parents." I said, I can't not tell them that they kid is worth X, Y, and Z.
Right.
So I called the parents. I said, "So and so offering X, Y, and Z." I called my guy back. I said, "Yo, let me ask you a question." I said, "You asked me about the big kid, but you didn't ask me was I okay. You didn't ask me if I had a job. You didn't ask me, do you want to come coach with me?" But that's the situation we in today. It's a grab situation.
Of course, man. Yep.
It's a grab situation.
Mel Popovich says, "Where do the kids that reclassify go since they can't play in New York City no more?" I don't think that's the point.
Well, I can answer that. And I'm gonna get back to where New York City don't realize that back in the days, I could be wrong, but ESPN used to call himself used to say ESPN top high school players. I think they call it. I think it's now called ESPN top prep players. And what I'm trying to say is that now these guys are evaluating these kids as prep players because there's no more, not no more, but there's a lot of traditional high schools that's not part of that platform anymore. So you got a guy who played for the Wrens, who's a 2025 graduate, who had a huge summer, and now he's at a Division I school. Back in the days, you could do that, but you had to go to prep school. So what I'm trying to say is that a lot of schools are now changed to academies, and you're allowed to reclass and play, which is great, which I love it, because I don't think no kid at the age of 16 or 17 is college ready.
Yeah, my guy CK said that's why a lot of the top players in the state go to prep schools now.
Especially after junior year.
Well, no disrespect to anybody in New York City, but at one time, even on this platform, we was naming kids the top player in the country, the top player in the city. And when those kids went out and competed against the other guys in the country, it wasn't more or less a skill set that was different. It was the body, a mindset, and the age set that was different. So even our top kids had a hard time competing sometimes because we was competing against older guys that played at academies. And these college coaches don't care where you play at. NCAA don't care where your transfer come from. If you qualified and you ready, they'll take you.
Now, look, I'm gonna tell you, my eyes was open when I became part of the NBPA Top 100 camp, right? And went down there and got to see the rest of the country. Of course, we gotta promote the kids that's here in New York, where they rank at until we see everybody else. And it's crazy because everybody know wherever I go, I'm filming everything, right? I didn't film one thing. I had 2 passes. I had a media pass. I had a scout pass. And I spent most of the time with NBA scouts and college coaches sitting there soaking up game picking their minds, and we picking each other's minds about what they see as quality players. And it got my mind thinking differently. So the only video I made was a warning to New York City. If everybody saw it, I had a, it's like just a warning to New York City, like, yo, we got to step our game up. You got to get better. You got to get stronger. We have to be in the gym, and we have to start thinking differently. And that was a testament to a conversation that Tiny and I used to always have, because he used to be like, yo, Pooh, you need to see the rest of the country. And I'm like, my platform said the official home for New York City basketball. Why do I need to see the rest of the country? And my guy Five Films, we was just sitting in the car one day, and Tiny and I was on the phone, and we was having these conversations. We always have conversations anyway, but I'm glad we did have those conversations, because once I became part of the top 100 camp and was able to see the rest of the country, it did open my mind, and I did start to see things at a wider scope. So appreciate you on that.
No, yeah, definitely. My thing is this, is that, and I've been through a lot of eras of basketball in New York City, and there are coaches and there are BACs. And we all know what the BAC is.
Bad advice crew. That's right.
Bad advice crew, right? And it's hard to distinguish, especially a guy like me, right? Because if you see me, you probably would say this guy is doing a great job in terms of finance, coaching high school basketball. But what people don't realize, and only the people that really work with me, I didn't get paid one dime at LWA. I didn't get paid. I gave up most of my money at Nazareth. I didn't get paid one dime at the Patrick School. The only time I really got paid coaching basketball was at Seton Hall University. Because if you know anything about coaching high school basketball in New York City, it's only $10,000 for the year. And you do taxes, you know how much that is. And if you care about the kids, and the kids got to get home and they got to eat,
Exactly.
you got to pay them your car to travel. I probably didn't make that much money coaching at Lincoln for 20-something years. So it's not something where if you really love the coach, you cannot make a lot of money. Now, if you don't like the coach and you down with the BAC, especially in this era of NIL, you can make a lot of money. But the sad thing about it, no one calculates the people who push a kid to do something for the money, and when they don't succeed, they're not penalized for that. It is going to the next person, and it's sad. So when I hear a guy like Mo Hicks want to come back to coach, it just brightens up my, I'm like, wow, we got somebody who really cares about coaching kids. And we don't have a lot of that all the time. Even the guys who still coaching, like Ron and Clario, right? You gotta really look at a guy like that and say, not only do he deserve more, but if you not coaching and you just on the outside looking in, you wouldn't understand how much a guy like him really loves coaching basketball. But we don't have that. We don't have that in New York City. We have it sometimes, but I don't see it all the time. Even the coaches that say, you know what, I'm just going to coach my kids. I don't care if I'm playing against the top player in the country. I don't care if we doing this. I'm just going to coach my season, and that's it. That's not the business of basketball today. It's not. It's not. It's sad that a lot of people in New York City don't realize that you don't have to be a pro to really, really get some financial means out of the game. Because as a teacher for 20 years, we're never going to get rich. And nobody's saying you have to get rich. But today's game, there's kids that's getting that's receiving NIL deals, that's buying hotels, that's buying property before they graduate. This is the business of basketball right now. And for us as a community that don't take this serious enough, shame on us.
B, you got some more? Because I got a whole bunch over here.
Keep ripping,
I'm
man.
I'm
Just
gonna keep
looking
this
at all.
rolling. I'm gonna keep this rolling.
All right.
I want to go back a little bit and we had so many conversations about the PSCL and their state. What do you think the PSCL can do to improve their league? Because I think right now they're moonwalking right now.
The PSCL has an alternative league, which allow kids to be above age to play. I think that should be throughout the entire league. I think that kids should be able to play a fifth year if needed. If that fifth year meaning taking college courses, it should be allowed. Or I think New York City should create, or the Catholic League should create a national team and a regional team. That national team should be allowed fifth year players and play against the Oak Hills, the OTEs. I think it's unfair. I think the Catholic League should allow transfers to come in. I mean, it's an unfair playground right now. It's not fair to the kids. It's not fair that a kid could graduate from a Catholic league or a public league, 16 going on 17, and he probably got to pay for college. It's not fair.
Mm.
Yeah, that whole 3K and 16 years old at graduating is so crazy, Tiny. It's not really talked about enough either.
But you know what the crazy thing about it? Not everybody wants to be an athlete, and we understand that. Not
Of course.
everybody have to be an athlete. And
Yeah.
the crazy thing about it in New York City is that a lot of us focus only on basketball, but it's NIL for every sport, just about.
I know. Imagine a football player, Tiny, going to college at 16 years old and trying to play D1 football. I mean, good luck. I mean, you'd have to redshirt for 3 years. You know?
Now, Kevin Rodriguez said, what is your guys' opinions on going to the NYvsNY League in New England and reclassifying?
Yeah,
Like,
what do you think of the different prep leagues, Tiny? And like,
Listen, the NYvsNY League, from my experience, I could be wrong. You got to pay some money to go there. So we could delete that by allowing a Catholic league to have a national team league, and the kids don't have to pay that much to go to a NYvsNY. So the NYvsNY League is cashing in because kids want to go to prep school.
Yeah.
And it's sad, because we could stay in New York City if we just change with the times. It's not really changing. Like I said, there's kids. I'm not gonna name any names, but there's a few kids that go to the NBA and their rookie year, they 20 years old, 22 years old, 23 years old, after spending 1 or 2 years in college. And you don't see their age until they go to the NBA. There's some it's a couple of big time programs, one out of Florida, that had a lot of pros that they did 1 year in college and they 20, 21 years old. That means they reclassed somewhere.
Yeah.
And nobody caught it. But that don't happen in New York City. Once you go to school, that ID number follows you. You got 4 years to play.
Now that league, the Pathways League, right? It's just there, right?
Yes.
It's just there. It's just there. My guy Coach Doyle, from Bucket Fam, he wins that every year because he's the only one really making moves in that league, and everybody else is just staying regular. What is the advantages that the PSL have with that league, and why aren't they using it to this fully capacity?
PSL got so many kids and so much talent, is that it's not being marketed the right way. It's just a shame because the administration at the PSL don't look at this as a business of basketball or big as a sports. They care about, basically kids playing, having a chance to play, safety, graduate. It's really not about what the business of basketball is. And I respect that because everybody is not going to be, like I said, not everybody cares about athletics that much because there's more to life than athletics. However, if it's there and they're giving it to us, why not take it a little bit more serious? Because it's there. A lot of people fought for it. So this game of basketball, just look at the Renz Academy. It's the Renz Sports Academy, right? Why is that a sports academy? Why we have sports academies now? Because sports matters. I don't see too many role models in our neighborhood, but sports figures right now.
Yeah.
I really don't. Everybody talking about the LeBrons, all these athletes. Like our role models are it's sad to say, our role models are athletes, and when they do something good or bad, it takes a hit. It takes a hit on us. It's sad, but that's the way it is right now.
This is very important because I think the state of New York City basketball is in jeopardy, right? You have a team like Stepanak, who right now is producing McDonald All-Americans every few years. No one's going to be able to beat them. They're going to be like the Luhi of New York City soon, where they just going to be smacking on everybody for the next few years. And it's going to be like that for a long time until everybody catch up. What do you think that Stepanak is doing that nobody else is doing? Tiny, from your side.
Well, Stepanak is definitely not Luhi because the seniors at Stepanak might be 17 years old, and the seniors at Luhi might be 19 years old. So I'm not going to say that they're the Luhi because Stepanak is getting kids getting kids from the community. The sad thing about it, I could be wrong, but Luhi would probably have 5 Division I players going to the Power 5 series conferences. Stepanak might have 5 Division I players, but they might not be going to the Power 5, and which is not fair because they all playing 12th grade basketball. They all competing on the same level. But one school is allowed to have kids a little bit more older, stronger, mature. They're coming from all over the country, so they're competing a little bit differently. I think, and it's sad to say, I think kids from Stepanak is going to be bought out. They're going to be bought out the same way my kids is being bought out. And you can't tell a family not to take some money when they might be struggling.
I can't imagine the pressure that Coach Mass is all the heat that must be coming on him with those guys coming back another year.
Yeah.
But don't they got deep pockets over there, Stepanak? Like, not for y'all. I'm gonna keep it a buck. For the stuff that I heard, like the alumni and their parents that's associated with that school, this is why they're able to get a lot of those players, and it helps, and it kind of helps.
I'm gonna give you a story about that. Not Stepanak, but I'm gonna give you a story from one of my guys from down south, right? He said, Tiny, I got a kid from Africa, right? He's playing in OTE. And I said to him, because I didn't really know the dynamics of OTE. I learned it this year. And he said, how can I tell a kid from Africa, don't take 100,000, that he could send 75 to his family in Africa and they can buy a house?
Yeah.
Because of high school basketball. How can I tell him not to take that?
Nuts.
You can't.
No.
You can't.
Wowza. Kevin Rodriguez says, question, Tiny, how do you prepare your players to play in huge crowds like New York versus New York as a coach?
The only way to prepare the players to play in huge crowd is to put that part of your schedule during the winter. You got to put pressure on them in practice. You got to have a team that can compete in practice. It's a lot of these guys be telling players don't go play with X player and B player because they do the same thing or he's gonna shine more. It's the craziest thing I've ever heard. The best thing I ever did for Sebastian Telfair his senior year was to make sure his practice was just as strong as his games. So here comes Eugene Lawrence. Eugene Lawrence and Sebastian going against each other in practice. It helps everybody out, and I live by that. So the only way to prepare the kid to play in big time games is to have big time practices.
I was gonna say, just go to one of Tiny's open gyms, and you'll know exactly what's going on.
That's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact right there. Hold on for a sec. It says he says Luhi are getting players from different countries to have basketball camps. That's crazy.
I mean, you can't blame Luhi, man.
Not at all. Not at
I
all.
never thought Luhi was doing things wrong. I thought Luhi was above the curve, and you can't blame him. You can't blame him. I mean, they giving the product that's being demanded. They have the product that's being demanded by these coaches and these shoe companies.
What about the space down in Mount Verde? I know that coach Kevin Boyle left and went to another school. Like, who's going to take the reins over the
Why did he leave? Did anybody say, "Oh, Kevin Boyle is looking for money like Tiny"? Don't care about money. Why is Kevin Boyle leaving? His situation is great.
Best situation he had, right? And then,
like, where's he going? No way. What happened? Yes, Kevin Boyle has another great situation. His son is a coach there. He's a coach. He's his own boss. You know, everybody's gonna send him players. It's gonna work. It's a platform. Kids is gonna be rich. They're gonna make money off this game. They're gonna do things. Yes, it's a great situation. I think Mount Verde did a great job. You know, getting another coach there. That's gonna probably keep the school still on float.
Yeah.
What about New York State? There's only one school in New York State that can compete on a national level every year. And most of those kids are not from New York City. No disrespect to Luhi, but most of the time those kids are not from New York City.
that's a fact.
I'm a product of New York City, and I always thought that we should take care of our kids. Now everybody thinks like that because everybody thinks that somebody's patting their pocket. Meanwhile, today, there's a lot of families that need to understand that this is a business of basketball, and if you can get a free scholarship and get paid to play basketball, then we should take this a little bit more serious.
And there's money to be made, right, Tiny? There's money out there now.
It's not even money to be made. My thing is this. I got a free scholarship. I became a teacher, and I worked 30 years. It shouldn't have to be like that. It shouldn't have to be like that. You know, back in my day, or, rapping was the big thing. I think sports right now can get a lot of kids and a lot of families in a better situation. And we should take it serious. If I was a doctor, I'll be speaking truthfully about being a doctor. If I was on Wall Street, I'll be promoting Wall Street. My life has been sports. It's been basketball. There's a curve. We should take advantage of it.
I think you should ask him that question now, Coach.
Oh, what's next for Coach Morton? Take a nice sip of that wine, Coach. What's next?
You know what? My goal is to go to Charlotte, and because there's an opportunity for me to help some more kids out. That probably wouldn't have the opportunity. That's my goal. That's what I'm working towards. If there was something in New York City where I can stay and continue to do what I did at LWA, I'll be happy to do it. If there's something that pops up in the next 2 or 3 days, I might do it. But it looks like there's a good chance I'm gonna be in Charlotte.
This is what I don't understand. People see you take like 7-year, 5-year, whatever, how long it was, hiatus, come back, win our All-Star game. It's not as big as New York versus New York, but it's the same thing. It's like, and then you did it in New York versus New York. I don't understand why people aren't saying, you know what, it's important that we keep Dwayne Taney Morton in the city because it's better for our kids, it's better for basketball, and now that Mo is coming back, man, it can reignite the city in such a huge way.
So New York City is not, and we all know that. When you look at the Knicks, they love you and they hate you. You know, if they don't understand what's going on, then it's up to assumptions. And New York City's just not on the same page all the time, and that's why it's New York City. You know, you got so many tourists, you got so many ideas and personalities. A lot of people don't understand that. And the crazy thing about it, they pick and choose who they help.
Preach. Like you got areas like the DMV that's like light years ahead of where we are right now, and I think the fact that they combine their Catholic schools and public schools and make compete against each other, where you know, if it's not a tournament that's bringing Catholic schools and public schools together, they kind of stay away from each other.
True.
You know, it's like the end of the year bash where they play, you know, the city champion, the Catholic school versus city champion from PSCL, and then it's all over. That's it. All right, y'all. Season over. Bye.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Well, I know we was only supposed to be on here for a half an hour. I feel we got a few more minutes more. Anybody got any questions? CK said we have Catholic schools and public schools in the same league in much of upstate New York. Now, what's the difference, Tiny, between you seeing between how upstate New York is ran and how the city is ran? And there's no more federation, so they can't even bring them together no more. So that's
that's a good statement you made, because I really don't understand when you say there's no more federation. So my thing is that,
well, as a united body, as New York City and upstate.
Yes, understood. But I don't grasp the idea that there's no more federation, meaning that certain states follow the federation rules, right? And you cannot play certain schools unless you both are part of the state. The PSCL is not part of the federation anymore, right?
No.
So are they still? So I guess because they're part of the state, though. See, you know,
it's confusing. It's confusing. And listen, when they told me I couldn't mic up Coach Lawrence Pollard during the game because it was part of some rule, Tiny was like, "What rule is that? You should have asked him what rule." Like,
if I was Bud, I would have said, "Yo, you're taking away from my finances because the fact that I'm getting mic'd up is I can have a chance to make some money. Like the kids is not the only one with the NIL. I can make some NIL. You taking away from my fans." It's a prime example of the public school league, and some leagues just don't understand that the game of basketball has changed, and you can't take away from the kids being able to make money. You know, I think it's the same way with coaches, but it's so many dinosaur rules that there's no one that's really, you know, policing those rules or understanding that it's not a fair playing ground with our state and the entire country. Not even the country. I have had in my DMs in my WhatsApp, I got about 4 or 5 kids from out of the country, from overseas, from Canada, asking me, "Can I come play for you?"
wow.
Like it's amazing how overseas, before the college kids would play college basketball, go overseas and make money. Now, and the overseas guys would stay overseas and make money at like 15, 16 years old. Now the overseas guys are saying, "Hold up, this kid from the Bronx went to Arkansas and probably got 500,000. Now this kid is in Florida, he got 800,000. They paying more in college than they paying overseas for these young kids. So now the overseas guys that used to take the NBA jobs are now coming over here to take the NCAA jobs because it's a
And just
job now.
dying to come over too, dying to
It's
play.
a job.
Mhm.
If we in the cities, in Brooklyn or Bronx or whatever, we in here, fighting against each other. Meanwhile, the whole world is taking money out of our pockets, bro. It's crazy.
It says CK says some Canadians may come to play at Catholic schools in Buffalo. It's like just come transfer right over there. It says he said prep schools helped me out a lot. I would have never went D1 without prep school. Real love. And he also said shout out CNC prep out of Staten Island. What is CNC?
Never heard that.
You ever heard about that?
No,
What is
but
that? Real
what?
love?
But you know what? I'm about to start the Tiny Morton Academy.
Let's go.
Tiny Morton Academy.
I love
Yo,
it.
listen, that's it. We need some backing for the Tiny Morton Academy. Trust me. New York will be on a whole different level. We'll be able to recruit players from
Tiny
all
Morton
over.
Academy. I need to start that.
Yeah.
Got all these other. You got the Link Academy. You got Spire. You got Fire. You got all these names, all these pop-up schools that's being sponsored by all these big shoe companies, and I should just do the Tiny Morton Academy.
That's right. And then
Take his
the
time.
Tiny Morton top 50 camp and get the kid. Because if kids calling you from Canada
Sure, you can
and
follow
all over the country.
12 young men.
I'm doing the wrong thing, man. I'm doing the wrong thing, man. I'm doing the wrong thing. I'm over here drinking wine. These guys is just drinking what you call that champagne that Jay-Z got?
What you talking about?
Ace of Spades.
Ace of
I'm drinking
Spades.
this cheap ass wine.
They
These
got
guys
the
is
big
drinking
ass bottles of
Spades.
Ace of Spade. They got the big ass bottles of Ace of Spade. And listen, there's again, there's rumors of different players. Like again, I'm gonna put this out here right now. We got a situation where you got a player like Josiah Jervis, right? Who I just thought, man, they was competing in a New York versus New York game, and you had a kid who done so much to improve his game over the last couple of years, and to see him not get the playing time he deserved. I'm gonna keep it a buck right there, bro. It was just sad for me to watch this kid go through that, and men talking to this guy a lot over the summer and watching him go through what he went through. I know, man, he's gonna be punishing some people this year because he made a big jump. Tiny, don't turn your head. Like, you're part of this conversation. I'm actually talking to Coach Ron Kurt. You just happen to be here right now.
Yo, listen, the Wrens, and I said this to the Wrens, and I'm not part of no AU program.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, I watched the Wrens because I had some interest in the team this year, but that kid to me did so well for himself during the AU season. Now, everyone is not good playing street ball. New York is a type of street basketball, and you got to be careful where you play. That's just so a kid like him also got to recruit his college to where he knows that the style of play is gonna fit his play. That's all I gotta say.
So you saying that didn't fit his style of play?
It didn't fit his style of play.
Salute to Coach Hood. Salute to Coach Hood.
It didn't. And I'm not just saying it was just the team he was on. It could be the platform. Who knows?
Yeah.
But not everyone. I remember I told Stephon this a long time ago when he was going to go play in Rucker. And I looked at Stephon as one of those, pass first point guards, kind of basic. I was like, I don't know if that fits your style of play. I'm not sure. Not everybody can play in that kind of basketball. But that kid, I'm a huge fan. I seen him play a lot this spring and summer. I think he did well for himself.
What about Mr. Swan?
That's another one. That's another one who New York City might hurt him when it comes to exposed and exposure.
Mm.
That's another one I wish he can go under the radar a little bit and go somewhere and define his game a little bit more.
Mm.
You know what? I should just be the next Tom Tchaikovsky. I've seen enough.
Now, first, he want to go from coach to academy to camps. Now he want to try to take our jobs, man. But look, the greatest thing I say that allowed me the chance to call you and pick your brain, because again, I tell people I just got in the space in 2020, so it's not like I've been around. You know, people, they talk to me like I've been around 10, 20 years, something like that. And I go, nah, I've been back in basketball since 2020. And it allowed me to tap into my friends and people in my past so I could get on a phone call and kind of pick their brains and don't claim to know everything, right? So you have to give yourself room to grow and also room to learn. And I've learned a lot. And one of the biggest lessons I learned was going to that top 100 camp and having my eyes open like, oh, okay. So now this year, going into this year, and how I rank players or how I talk about players will be a lot different than what I did in the previous years.
Yeah. It's a lot of plays in this world. It's not just in the United States. And I think our kids and our coaches and our communities need to really understand that if you're going to play this game, you got to realize it's really not a game anymore. So how you eat, sleep, think, you got to treat this like a business. There's nothing wrong with that. You got a guy who's making $1 billion, who has a son who had a little heart problem, who's still playing the sport. So that means there's got to be something about this sport or this business that's worth it.
True.
Mel signed to St. Louis. What do you think?
I love it. I love it. I love it. You know, I love that that he's gonna be able to
Good question.
to make mistakes and be corrected and not be penalized because he got to win games or win championships. You know, if he'd went a little bit higher, you know, the stakes would have been higher, and his risk factor would have been lower. I like it. I like Mel. I think Mel's getting better. I think he knows. I seen him play street ball and I seen him play regular ball.
Deron Rippey.
Wow. Shame on New York City for not having him in one of those programs. Shame on New York City. I'm happy for him and his family, but he did so much for our city because he would have allowed some other players to play against him, compete against him, and we'd have probably had another top guard from New York City. But I'm happy for his family. Big time player. I like him for St. John's. I don't know why. I'm gonna say it. I like Rick Pitino for him. I think it's the type of guard that Rick Pitino used to have. Russ, Mitchell. What's the other kid I like from at Miami? What's the guard from Miami? That was at Charlotte. Forgot his name, but he's the kind of guard I think Rick Pitino does well with. But you know,
Rick Pitino said there's no more point guards, Tiny. What do you think about that?
I agree and disagree. I agree. I more agree than disagree. I think he's right because I think that because of the NIL and people getting paid for stats, it takes away just winning.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people who don't understand about the NL. Most of the time, you get paid for how many points or what your stats are, which is crazy to me. But I agree with him, and I disagree.
Mhm.
Dylan Mingo.
I watched Dylan. I didn't see too much. Um, he's like a Swiss Army blade. Like he could do a lot of things. Um, he's another kid I think is gonna really dictate what school he go to. You know how much freedom he gonna have.
He did very well down at the top 100 camp. Like that was one kid that I said, you know, Deron as well, Deron, Josiah, Musa, they all played very, very well, but he definitely kind of owned that camp and playing against everybody from all over the country.
I think he
Uh,
had benefit from not going to college.
hold on. What?
I think Mingo might have a chance to be better off if he didn't have to go to college.
He reminds me, and people might say I'm crazy, but I've been a defensive guy my whole life and know what it looks like. He remind me of SGA.
Nah, I don't think he's that skillful, but
No,
I
I'm
think
talking about on that level. And the thing that he was doing, Tiny, down there in that camp, game after game after game after game, and mixing it up the way he was doing, and getting to the line like about 10 times a game, I would say to myself, this is unbelievable. I haven't seen that in a long time in a player.
I think he can. I think he can play defense on the point guard. I think he's strong enough to play defense on the two spot. You know, I think he does a little bit of everything. So I don't know. I don't know what college is going to fit his game, where he's not allowed to do all that unless he, you know, I don't know, unless he goes somewhere where he's really really needed. But I
Like,
think,
yeah.
I think you could put him on the NBA floor and he still would be effective doing something. I'm not jumping the gun saying he's an NBA player right away. I
Yeah.
just think that I could see him playing on the NBA floor with guys that's in the league, and he could play with them.
Nigel James.
I love Nigel. I love what Nigel brings to the game. You know, he's my type of player. You know,
Yeah.
it's a Kyle Lowry type of personality. He plays off of defense, much more athletic than Kyle Lowry. Not sure he can run a point like Kyle did, but you know exactly what you're gonna get out of him. If you get anything more, it's icing on the cake.
I want to name three players real quick before we get out of here, and it's three of your players. First, Caleb Popote. What do you think about him and his progress and his elevation?
Caleb was the kid when we first started practicing, I was saying, what this kid's gonna give me? Like, what is he gonna give me? Like, he's not hungry for the ball. He's not chucking up shots. He's just too cool. Was I wrong? Was I wrong? You know, he's one of those guys that you can almost count what he's gonna give you on the stats.
Yep.
He's a quiet assassin. I was so pleased with Caleb. I was confused at first, and then he grew on me. You know, but Gary Irvin did tell me that he's probably one of my better guards before the season started.
He
What
played.
about Juju?
Oh man, that's a success story to me. I'm gonna tell you why, and I'm not putting nobody down, but I know for a fact Julian played with a kid that was a top kid in the PSCL. I mean the Catholic League. I'm not saying no names. On his AAU team, he played with someone that was a top kid in the Catholic League. And Julian, I'm not sure how much he did last year in the Catholic League. I mean, the year before in the Catholic League. But Julian slowly became the coach's favorite on that AAU program, and he started over the kid that got more publicity than the kid that was in the Catholic League. No disrespect to anyone, it just proves that Julian, he put in work. And the thing that really reminds me about Julian, he's 17 years old, bro. He won't be 18 until the end of the year. It's a shame. It's a shame. His mother about 6'3", his father's about 6'6". The kid might still be growing. He might be 6'9". Who knows?
Troy Faison and the fact that he's going back home.
Well, I don't know if he's going back home. Who said that?
That's what I heard. That's what I heard. That's you know.
He is going back to Far Rock. You're right. You're right. He is. I spoke to him yesterday.
Look, I was saving. I was like, yeah, he gonna have to answer that now because, look, that's what the rumors was. You know, transfer portal still open. We'll see.
All right, so Troy is obviously for a lot of reasons. Troy's one of my favorites. I think Troy is one of those players that can easily get lost in the system if he's not being showcased at the highest level all the time. And I think that's what Troy needs. Troy reminds me of a kid like Eugene Lawrence, where Gino was averaging 25 at Canarsie, but didn't get that push for colleges because they was playing on a lower level than Lincoln. When Gino went to Lincoln and the lights was on, he proves to a lot of college coaches that he can be just as good as the player next to him. I think Gino and Bassie reminds me of Anderson and Troy. That's why I was kind of frustrated that those guys, couldn't continue that off because I think they both would have benefited from each other. I call Troy dark-skinned Fred VanVleet. Yeah.
Wow. All right. We're about to get you out of here, man.
All right.
Last one. I'm gonna let you say this before you leave. Do you think Anderson is leaving a better player after being under you for a year?
Where's he going? I don't even know where he's going yet.
That's another one. I was trying to slide that in there, Tiny, right? You're trying to slide that in there.
He didn't tell me where he was going yet.
Listen,
I don't know where he's going.
If everybody's smart, man, just pack up and go down to Charlotte with Tiny if he goes down there.
I tell you one thing.
Help him out with an academy up here.
I tell you one thing. Anderson Diaz is a way better person than he is a player.
Yes.
That's a fact.
Wow. It's a big statement, Coach.
That's a fact.
I like that.
All right, man. I think we can call this a wrap, man. I think we can call this a wrap, man.
I need two things, Coach. I need you to show me how much is left in that bottle. And two, I want to know, are you coming back next year for us in the summer? Because you got to defend your title, Coach.
Oh, definitely. I'm not going anywhere. United States is small.
That's my guy. That's all I need to know.
I'm not going anywhere.
That's right. Hey, listen, my friend, you take it easy, man. Finish up the rest of that battle. Enjoy your Friday. And thank you, everybody, for joining us. High school basketball.
You got to go see that movie. You got to go see the Spike Lee movie. I just came back for seeing it. You got to go see it.
With Denzel Washington?
Yeah.
Is that good?
It's just a different take on. It's about us. It's about us.
Got you.
I'm not gonna say too much. It's about us.
Right.
You know,
I gotta say it's about the music industry, baby. You know,
bingo.
I'm gonna definitely connect all the dots there.
Bingo.
For sure. Yes. I'm gonna go see it this weekend.
All
right, brother.
Thanks for coming on, Coach.
All right.
Man, that was one for the ages, man.
You were awesome, man. Coach Morton, amazing, and Coach from South Shore just started us off great. I mean, what a great app, man. Gonna be tough to top that one.
But it's great that we started off season 3 with a banger.
That's right, my man.
Well, listen, let me tell you something. For those of you that know, I want to put his business out there. My guy B been going through it as of late. I didn't know if he was going to join me on the show tonight, man. You're a trooper, brother. I appreciate you, man. I couldn't do this without you, man. And listen, when those checks come in, man, I'm going to say it online, man. We're going to split that right down the line 50-50, man. We're gonna take this all the way to the top, brother, all right?
Let's go, my man. And Spike Lee's about to make a movie about us next. Let's go.
Let's go, my brother. Let's go. No doubt. Y'all been watching High School Basketball Weekly, Season 3, Episode 52.
Wow.
Y'all already know what it is.
Well,
We're about to get out of here. That's right. That's right. And we'll hit y'all with the intro next time. All right? All right? We'll get that together. No doubt. Peace.